On the 5th of November 1975, Travis Walton and a logging crew are driving along a forest track near Snowflake, Arizona. Suddenly, they notice a strange orange glow coming through the trees. As they drive into the clearing, they see a strange craft. There's a low rumbling sound, which they feel in their chest, and a high-pitched humming sound. Travis gets out of the truck and starts approaching the craft. The rumbling increases and the humming increases, and there's a sense of something about to happen. And then suddenly his friends watch in horror as a beam of energy emits from the bottom of the craft and strikes Travis square in the chest. As Travis blacks out and loses consciousness, his friends put their foot down on the gas and tear off out of the clearing in the truck. As they're bouncing their way down the forest track, they start to have regrets and do a U-turn and go back to check on Travis's well-being. But when they get to the clearing, he's not there. Travis slowly comes round and he feels very groggy. He's deep in pain all over his body. He's got blurred vision and he can't quite make out what he's seeing. He hears shuffling sounds and he knows he's on a cold table. He feels it under his back and he knows there's a light shining down from above him on the ceiling, and he sees some figures moving around, but he can't quite make them out as he's trying to gain focus. And then his eyes come into focus and he sees leaning over him two white-skinned figures, hairless creatures with huge black eyes. Who are these creatures? What do they want from me? And what have they done to me? Despite being in searing pain and also struggling to breathe in this suffocating environment that he's in, he leaps from the table and grabs a cylinder, a transparent glass-like cylinder from a nearby shelf, and starts trying to attack these figures. As he swipes this impromptu weapon towards them, their emotions don't change, their facial expressions don't change, and they don't even make any noise. They just quickly exit the room and a door locks behind them, and Travis is on his own. Just then, the door opens and another figure enters the room. This time, it's a human-looking figure, a huge, muscly character dressed in a dark blue uniform, and he's wearing a full, transparent helmet around his head. Travis starts firing questions at him. Who are you? What have you done? Where am I? But the figure either can't hear him or is choosing not to answer. Maybe just the slightest wry smile on its face as it gently takes him by the arm and quickly leads him out of the room. As they make their way down a metal ramp out of the craft, Travis feels maybe this is a real human, or maybe is this something they've made to look like a human, or have they done something to my brain to make me see this as if it's a human, but it's still one of them? The large, muscly figure leads Travis out of the craft and towards a large hangar-type building. Travis is led into the hangar and he spots other craft exactly like the one he's just left inside this huge building. He's led down corridor after corridor and finally into what appears to be some kind of investigation room. In this room, there are 5 other figures, similar to this male figure who led him there, all wearing the same dark blue uniform. This time, they don't have helmets on, so Travis begins firing more questions at these guys. Where am I? What's happening? Have you been abducted too? What's going on? None of the figures respond in any way, and Travis is getting more and more panicked, fearful, his heart pounding faster and faster. And then one of the female figures approaches him with what looks like a transparent plastic face mask and puts the mask on him, and he instantly blacks out. And the next thing Travis knows is he's on the floor of the forest again. He's coming to and he's looking up at the sky, and as he opens his eyes and gains focus once more, he sees the saucer object zooming off into the sky. And as it does that, he feels the draft of it on his face. He's alive, but he's in the middle of nowhere and he needs to get back to civilization. He slowly descends through the forest to the nearby town of Haber, which is some 30 miles southwest of where he was abducted. He's been missing for 5 days and 6 hours, and he's lost 12 pounds, and he frantically looks around the town for a phone box that he can use to call his family. Because it's 1975, he can do a collect call without any coins and without any money just by calling the operator. But he needs to find a phone box that works. The first phone box he goes to does not work, and he gets filled with terror and despair that he's never going to be able to reach his family again. He goes to the next phone box, and fortunately, this one works. He calls the operator and asks for a collect call to his family. When he's popped through, he tells them in panicked language, "Quick, this is where I am, come and get me." The operator is listening into the call and tells the sheriff to dispatch police right away. Travis hangs up the phone and waits for his family. By this point, he's having a nervous breakdown. He's a physical and mental wreck trying to process everything that's happened to him over the past few days. A short time later, his brother arrives and drives him back to the family home. The police arrive to the phone box a short time later, but they got there too late. It doesn't take long for the story to break, and people start calling Travis's home with warnings. A nurse calls them, and she says she's cared for an elderly couple that reported a similar experience before Travis's in the same area, and yet they've mysteriously since gone missing. Another caller warns Travis's family not to hand him over to the CIA because they would never see him again if they do. Soon after the incident, Travis and his 6 co-workers are interviewed by police, and they're asked to conduct polygraph tests. 6 of them pass and 1 of them is inconclusive. Travis's blood and urine are screened for every drug known to man, and they come back 100% clear and clean. Double-blind medical experiments and tests are conducted on Travis, and he's found to have highly unusual brain activity and brainwave patterns in the days following the incident. Later, experts were even brought in to analyze the trees surrounding that clearing. By looking at the tree rings, they were able to establish there'd been a growth spurt after that craft had landed, and also it had been directional towards where the craft had landed.